In today's climate of video games, you either play an addictive first-person shooter, an addictive third-person shooter, or garbage so addictive you won't ever be able to have friends in real life. It's quite difficult to find a game that has good intentions towards their player base, but today the luck is on our side because the weather forecast has some very good news, because I have been informed that we won't have the skin-burning sun nor freezing hailstorms. There's only a slight risk of rain. Hello everyone, and hopefully you brought an umbrella with you, because today I want to provide you with a very unique point of view on a game I have picked up recently called Risk of Rain 2. It is a very welcome breakaway from my traditional PvP online shooters, and it has many core mechanics that instantly make me fall in love with a game, such as different playable characters or a very high replay value. Why do I think my perspective on the game will interest you? Well, not only do I have an impressive amount of hours already spent in the game, but I also want to make every veteran of this game have a good little listening how the game looks from the perspective of a completely lost player. I have not looked at the wiki a single time. Okay, I lied a little because I looked once to see how did this hula hoop head shiny god creature thing killed me, and it turned out he was using his special move called removing the ozone layer and making the sun go sicko mode. Other than that, I have no idea what most of the items do. I am terrified of this lava worm creature, and all I know about this game is that if I stop moving, the game will make fun of me. Welcome to Simply Risk of Rain 2. The premise of the game is fairly simple. Each game you begin, you are thrown in a random stage, and your main goal is to find a structure called the teleporter. In my opinion, it looks more like a devilish altar that only wants your blood sacrifice. But apparently something like this already exists in this game, and it takes a bite of your health in exchange for some monies. The way you get more monies is by slaying the wildlife on each of the stages. These range from teleporting demons or straight up ancient gods. Once you murder enough lizards and turtles, you may spend your monies on in-game loot boxes. Just like in any other game, the loot boxes give you some cosmetic items that your character will wear for the rest of the run. And speaking of characters, at the start of each game you can choose what character do you want to play, and to unlock other characters you need to simply play the game or do something that requires a short read on the game's wiki page. That's why I have the privilege to also play as the captain, who has a reward for beating the game for the first time. Congratulations me, yes, thank you. And Roomba, who I don't even remember how I got, but he's here anyways and I love him. There's also Mysterio, Hanzo, and Shotgun Person, who are all great characters, and so far I can't say any of them are straight up bad or feel weaker than the other. The reason they are all different other than the obvious look category is also what kind of gameplay do they provide. Each character has a set of unique abilities, including their primary fire. For example, the main menu boy has 2 quick firing pistols, while the shotgun guy, you won't believe me when I say this, has a goddamn shotgun! This adds to the previously mentioned replay value, but the main factor that will contribute to it has to be the item system. The cosmetic items you get from those loot boxes also give you some stat upgrades, be it faster rate of fire, more damage done to bosses, or you get a ukulele. Speaking of bosses, yes, the game makes you fight big overpowered creatures each time you interact with the demon altar, I mean the teleporter. So if you want to progress through the game, you need to find it. And how do you find it? That's the best part of this game. You don't! I noticed after playing my fair share of hours that some stages are repeating themselves with an exact same layout, but the location of the teleporter seems to always be random. Is it halfway spawned in the ground behind a small hill and is impossible to spot unless you stumble upon it by accident? Yep, that's your typical risk of random generated structures experience for ya. But the kind developers behind this game have thought about it, so to help you in your troubles with finding the only damn way of progression, you are constantly on a timer. That makes the game a little different with each stage of difficulty you come across. We have the easy difficulty, then the medium, hard, but then we get to some gems like this or this. This means you can't spend your time on casually opening every every box that spawned in your stage, because if you do, you will regret it shortly after. From what I've noticed, it mainly increases the enemy's health points and maybe their damage, so in reality it's no big deal, but the further stages you are in, the more enemies will spawn and they become stronger with each stage. Now for the things that I do not like, and as you might tell, one of those has to be how difficult it is to find the teleporter sometimes. I really wish there was a tiny arrow indicator showing you where the damn thing is, especially for a newer player like me who doesn't know the stages from the back of my head. I also got unlucky enough to have the teleporter spawn in places that made the boss spawn on the other side of the wall or on the higher elevation, making the fight last 10 minutes longer than it should. Unfortunately, it's one of those charms of random generated terrains that I will most likely have to simply deal with and ignore them. Also, if I find the game too challenging or too easy, the difficulty can be chosen before each game, so that's neat. But even without it, sometimes going from one stage to the other, the creatures you encounter from side to side are drastically stronger or weaker than each other. Like the teleporting imps, who have a ton of health compared to the turtles you encountered one stage earlier. But other than that, there's really nothing more I'd want to complain about. The game gives you many options to customize your experience, be it through items that may or may not synergize with your character very well, but the fact that there are many structures like the 3D printer or the scrapper that allow you to still have real control over your build is phenomenal. Usually in games with the mechanic of randomly given items in game, you have to roll with what you are given, but the addition of the previously mentioned stations make Risk of Rain 2 a very casual and not over-limiting and punishing experience. If you need more convincing, then I'd like to personally thank the person who decided to not instantly kill the players when they fall off the edge of the map, but also screw the person who added those floating rocks in this skyblock looking stage. So, you can choose your own character, decide what items are you building or not, and the shooty tooty part is also mega fun. But what's the final goal of it all? The main goal of this game is to reach the moon for some reason, where your broken ship lies. To repair it, you have to put a few pillars into the ground and then fight the final boss. To give you some more context, the game opens up with a cutscene where you go in this planet on your own risk, knowing there's no life left on it, but you decide to drop in anyways. How does your ship get broken? What was the reason of landing here anyways? What's the point of this game? The point of this game is to have fun. There are little to no games, and in that case mostly indie games, where the main premise of the game is to simply enjoy your time. Shooting some hostile creatures in interesting environments, following a simple gameplay loop of locate specific structure, fight off boss that is guarding it, and repeat until you reach the final destination. I already stumbled upon some weird out of place stations and had the pleasure to fight in this weird demon zone that I had no idea how to progress in, and I lost to the damn gravity. Apparently the Roomba character forgot to install his brakes, so I can't wait to keep on playing the game and progress further with discovering each of the stages the game has to offer, unlocking all characters and get to know which one is my favorite at the end. But most importantly, Risk of Rain 2 is a game where multiplayer co-op is heavily encouraged. Unlike Binding of Isaac, which is one of my favorite games of all time, the co-op mode was clearly kept in mind when creating this game, so if you have a buddy or two, I highly recommend grabbing this gem of a casual hot and spicy experience that offers high replay value, tons of fun and progression that feels super satisfying to go through, without any XP boost or microtransactions thrown in your face. There's also the whole universe of mods people I mentioned I played this game to told me to try out, so I might do that when I will know I experienced the Risk of Rain 2 main experience package to its fullest. But for now, I will kindly ask you to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed, and perhaps join the Discord server if you're interested in something like that. Now excuse me, I'm going to keep on trying to not fall off the edge with needle spewing Roomba. So thanks for watching, have a lovely day, bye bye.